Beneath the dim glow of a hospital night, while mops whispered across cold tile floors, a broken man found his hope hiding inside a forgotten music room. He was a janitor by uniform, a pianist by heart, a single father fighting to rebuild a life that the world seemed intent on crushing. And without knowing it, he was about to play the most important song of his entire existence for a little girl who could not see the keys, but could feel every dream hidden inside them. As a powerful CEO stood silently behind the door, hearing the truth before she even saw it. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the hidden magic in ordinary people, then please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, so we can spread more stories like this to the world. Ethan Cole had once lived under spotlights. Not long ago, piano halls would fall silent the moment he touched a key, and audiences would rise in awe as if witnessing the birth of a star. But life is not a fair judge of talent. One tragedy, one car crash, and his world shattered. His wife, the love he once crafted lullabies for, slipped away forever in the wreckage. His daughter Mia survived, but with her tiny heart struggling, needing surgeries that emptied every dollar he possessed. Fame disappeared faster than applause fades in the dark. Ethan sold his piano, then his furniture, then his home. Now he carried memories in one pocket and hope in the other, praying neither would run out. At 36, he swept corridors of the Royal Grace Hospital. His work shoes squeaked, a far cry from the polished stage leather he used to wear. Each night he clocked in for the graveyard shift, because it paid a little extra. He would push his cart through endless hallways where beeping monitors guided lost souls. His back ached, his heartbeat sounded like a tired metronome. But he kept moving because of Mia. She was 9, and she was everything good still breathing in his life. It was late fall. Rain clung to the windows like fingerprints of sorrow. Ethan finished sanitizing a children's wing when he noticed the lights on in the hospital's small therapy music room. It wasn't unusual. Kids often played there during the day. But at night it stayed as silent as a locked diary. He peeked in, curiosity dancing like a quiet melody. Inside, a young girl sat at the piano bench. Her long brown hair fell softly over her shoulders, and her little hands floated hesitantly above the keys as if waiting for permission from the air. But what made Ethan pause was the distant, unfocused look in her cloudy eyes. She wasn't looking at the piano. She couldn't. She was blind. She pressed a single key and flinched at the sound, as though she feared making a mistake in a world that already took so much from her. Ethan felt something tug inside him. He walked in gently and asked if she needed help finding her way back to her room. She said no, she wanted to play but couldn't remember where middle C was. She had only recently lost her vision, and music was her last memory of light. Her name, she told him, was Lila. She was 7 years old and had been in an accident that left her eyes filled with darkness and her heart terrified of silence. Ethan hesitated. Touching those keys again was like touching a wound that never healed. But he couldn't leave her lost in fear. Slowly, he sat beside her and placed her small fingers on the correct key. Then, his own fingers hovered over the ivory surface, trembling. One note. Just one. And suddenly a dam inside him burst open. Music poured out of him like a galaxy he had long forgotten he carried. Lila's face lifted, and even though she couldn't see the notes, she bloomed under their warmth. The melody became laughter in sound form, a sunrise painted in vibrations. Every night thereafter, Lila returned, and every night, Ethan returned too, after finishing his shift, even when exhaustion crawled on his back. Together they created moments that felt like miracles stitched from broken pieces. Lila learned to trust her hands again, she learned to smile without seeing, and Ethan rediscovered a reason to breathe. Some nights, after their secret lessons, he would go back home and find Mia awake, waiting for him with sleepy eyes. He would hold her hand, promising the universe that he would never let darkness claim her joy. And in those small hours, he realized something. He wasn't just teaching Lila, she was restoring him. But life listens when happiness dares to whisper. And sometimes it tests the bravery of that whisper. One evening, a team of executives toured the hospital. At their lead walked Victoria Hale, the impeccably dressed CEO of a massive corporation funding medical programs. She was known for her steel posture, her relentless ambition, and her heart sealed behind years of isolation and success. She visited quietly, the weight of responsibility hidden behind eyes that rarely revealed softness. That night, Ethan was running late. His supervisor handed him a bathroom incident that devoured his break time. He rushed to the music room fearing Lila might be waiting alone in disappointment. But she was there, not disappointed at all. She was humming and smiling, confident now. Ethan apologized, sat beside her, and started to play a gentle lullaby he once composed for Mia long ago. The music brushed the air like feathers dancing above candlelight. Layla followed with her tiny hands, growing more fearless every second. They didn't know the door was slightly ajar. Victoria stood there, frozen, listening. Her chest tightened. The last time she heard a piano played like that was before her own husband died. Before busyness replaced motherhood. Before guilt became the necklace she always wore. Too consumed by her empire, she had let days pass without noticing her daughter fading into loneliness after her accident. That blindness had not only stolen Layla's sight, but had taken away her courage too. Doctors tried therapy. Specialists tried encouragement. Nothing worked. Until now, everything in Victoria's mind screamed to enter, to hug her child, to ask who this man was. But something in her heart silenced her. This moment belonged to them. It was healing in its purest form, and she was the one interrupting. So she stayed hidden, letting music raise her daughter back up. Ethan didn't notice the extra footsteps outside. He finished the song and Lila reached out, touching his cheek to recognize the shape of his smile. She said that tonight it almost felt like she could see again. When he left, Victoria stepped inside. Lila perked up, recognizing the familiar scent of her mother's expensive perfume. Victoria knelt, holding her daughter, letting tears fall for the first time in years. She promised she would do better, be better. Maybe love was a light she could learn to follow again. The next day, Ethan was called into the administrator's office. He feared the worst. Maybe they found out he had been using the room after hours. Maybe playing the piano while on duty broke some rule. His hands shook as if striking wrong notes. But instead, they offered him something that didn't feel real. The hospital received a grant to hire a full-time therapeutic music instructor, someone who could help children like Lila rediscover joy. The job required both talent and a heart that understood hardship. His name was the only one listed as a recommendation. Ethan's first instinct was disbelief, because poverty trains you not to trust good news. He asked how this happened. The administrator smiled and simply said that someone important believed in him. The someone was Victoria. Later that week, she met him in the music room, no longer hiding. She thanked him for giving her daughter music again. But Ethan felt unworthy, telling her he was just a janitor trying to survive. Victoria told him that she had never heard a man more alive than when his fingers touched those keys. She said broken people make the best healers, because they know where to pour the love that saved them. Word spread. Soon other children began to gather in the room at night. Smiles returned. Laughter replaced uncertainty. The music room transformed into a small universe where hope was the only law. Ethan was hired full-time. No more mops. No more aching back from scrubbing away other people's tragedies. Now he helped rewrite stories instead. But the biggest change wasn't professional. One quiet evening, Mia visited with him and met Layla. They played together in their own magical way, one seeing through her hands, the other through her heart. Watching them, Ethan felt a future unfolding before his eyes. Victoria noticed too, and maybe for the first time since losing her husband, she didn't feel alone. Two parents who once thought their worlds ended now watched their daughters laughing together, and they realized that healing sometimes places broken souls in the same room for a reason. The music healed more than hands and hearts. It built bridges. It created family. If this story has touched your heart in any way, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, so more beautiful stories of hope and humanity can reach those who need them. Before we finish, there is a special request. Comment below what moment in this story moved you the most. Ethan would go on to perform again, not for fame or applause, but to show every struggling parent, every frightened child, every lost dreamer, that sometimes life takes everything from you so you can learn where real treasure lies. Victoria no longer measured life in profits or headlines, but in smiles and new beginnings. Lila regained confidence, walking with her cane like a star guiding its own path. And Mia learned that heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wear janitor uniforms and push mop buckets down hallways until fate hears their silent cry. In the heart of that hospital, music continued to ripple through time. A single dad who once swept away other people's footprints now left his own. A blind girl learned she could hold the world in her fingertips. A mother found her way back to love. And every night, behind that same piano, a family formed out of shattered pieces that fit together perfectly, proving that the most beautiful symphonies are born from broken keys. Somewhere in the universe of unwritten songs, hope hummed its approval. Lives had been changed. Hearts had been found, and the janitor who played piano discovered that the greatest audience he would ever play for was not one that clapped, but one that healed. Kindness had found its stage again.